The economic problem forces us to choose how we will use our scarce resources. We need an economic system which helps us answer the questions: what will we produce, how will we produce it, and who will get it? But we also want the economic system to answer those questions in a way that maximizes the value we get out of our resources. We want to produce things that people actually benefit from, things people actually need and want. We also don't want to leave anything on the table, wasting our resources on inefficient production processes. We gain a lot of productive efficiency through specialization and trade. The division of labor allows us to minimize our use of resources and maximize our output. But when it comes to producing things people really need and distributing them to people who actually want them, human civilization struggled to find a good solution. For most of our history, a strict social hierarchy saw those with power make the decisions for the vast majority of people who lacked such power. In 1776, however, the Scottish philosopher Adam Smith challenged the conventional wisdom on how economies should work. He published a book whose full title is An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. Rather than dictate to people what to produce and how to do it and who will get it, Smith recommended that governments just leave people to figure it out on their own. He argued that the best allocation of resources in society will be achieved if everyone does what they think is best. You may have heard the term laissez-faire, which is a French term which roughly translates to allow to do, but has come to represent an attitude of letting things take their own course, particularly in the economy. Many people today still find this idea questionable, but in Smith's time and before it, it was downright unthinkable. Most thought that if government wasn't there managing the economy every step of the way, chaos would ensue. But they were wrong. The key elements of Smith's vision for a market economy are property rights and free markets. In order for the market system to work, the means of production must be owned privately by individuals. That ownership is enforced by law, and that enforcement is the main extent to which the government should be involved. Importantly, this means that the owner of some property is the one who reaps the rewards of that property, but they also must bear the burdens of it. A farmer who owns their land is the one who will profit from the successful production of food, and no one takes that profit away. But the farmer is also the one who must pay to plant the crops, tend them, and harvest the results. The other key element is free markets, meaning that participation in any economic activity is totally voluntary. If the farmer wants to walk away from their land and quit farming, they are perfectly within their rights to do so, an act that might have gotten you killed in the days of feudalism. Likewise, if someone else wants to buy some farmland and compete with you, you can't stop them from doing so. Another act that wouldn't fly under feudalism. That freedom extends to consumers as well. The buyers of products choose what they want to buy and from whom. You're not required by laws to purchase exclusively from some state-sponsored seller or barred from buying things due to your social class. All exchange has to be voluntary. Smith argued that once property rights and free markets were in place, governments need not intervene any further. Through entrepreneurship and competition, resources would be directed to the uses most desired by society, and in the most efficient way possible. Since property owners reap the rewards of their production, this incentivizes them to use their resources in a profitable way. The profit motive is the desire for financial gain, and while it is not by any means the only motivation we might have to start a business, it does help drive our decisions in ways that deliver the goods and services consumers actually want. If consumers really do want something, they will be willing to pay more for it. And this demand for something will incentivize producers to use their resources to deliver that outcome. Competition is what keeps things efficient. Unprofitable uses of resources are halted in favor of those that are profitable. When profit is found, more producers enter the market with their resources and compete, minimizing prices. As human beings, we have to admit that it's a little off-putting to think of things this way. We don't like to admit things like profit motivates us, or that when something is unprofitable, it is a waste. And sometimes we want to bring inequality in wealth and income into it. Those are important subjects, but they aren't as relevant to this as it may seem. Money is not what matters here. Rather, it is our ability to produce goods and services. Profits mean that we have used our resources to produce goods and services people want. A lack of profits means we've ripped resources away from something people want in order to produce something less valuable. If we want to reach the edge of our production possibilities frontier, we want the profit motive to drive production. But where we are on the production possibilities frontier will be driven by the actual preferences of actual people, not by money. The ultimate goal of an economic system is efficiency. Efficiency means we didn't leave anything on the table. We used the least costly production techniques we could, and we produced the combination of goods and services most wanted by society. Allocative efficiency should mean that no one is getting shortchanged, but it doesn't mean everyone is starting from or ending with any kind of equality. A market system like the one proposed by Adam Smith doesn't guarantee economic equality, but it also doesn't rule it out. Before we talk about inequality, though, I think it's best to see why Smith's answer works so well when it comes to efficiency. Efficiency is its own goal, and there's no reason not to achieve it. The key insight of Adam Smith is that, to just about everyone's surprise, an economy which relied on free markets rather than a central government authority or any kind of central economic planning would be much better at achieving this efficiency.